Okay. Whoa, another one.
Oh, I have, what question I had a catch you make up this.
So, the intramural fields at a small college will cover a total area of 440,000 square feet, and you have 1,600 feet of fenced enclosed rectangular field. Find the dimensions. This is actually a system of equations. We didn't learn them yet. So we're on the first set of notes, the second to last page. Tony, do you have a question?
Yeah, it says email saying exam 1, chapter R, and 2 retake. Is that what we're doing?
That's your homework. That was your homework.
This?
The one that says notes on the front. The one we were working on yesterday.
This, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we're supposed to do last night?
Yes.
That is packed.
Yes. It
Okay.
says yes.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Okay. Do you know where we are? Okay. So if it's going to cover a total area of 140,000 square feet, you got something that looks like this. It's a pen with one dimension that way, one dimension that way. Nothing says they have to be the same. It doesn't have to be square. So what do you know from the problem? You know the area is 140,000 square feet, so what is that as an equation? X times y equals 140,000. And they have 1,600 feet of fence. So what is that actually talking about for this thing? The perimeter. So how many x's are there in the perimeter? 2. So 2x plus 2y equals 1,600. Yep, exactly. Notice that. Okay, so then we're going to solve this system, which I don't know why they put this before they taught systems of equations. Does it make sense you can take the second equation, and it's probably you can divide it by 2, first of all, to make it like the number smaller. X plus y will equal 800, right? And then I solved it for y. Y equals 800 minus x. I don't know why I just wrote 8. And you can substitute this into there. So you've got x times 800 minus x equals 140,000, or 800x minus x squared equals 140,000. So 0 equals x squared minus 800x plus 140,000. Is that okay? So now, do you want to factor this? No. If factoring doesn't work, what's your best friend? The quadratic formula. Completing the square also would work, because this one is not so bad, but I think the quadratic formula is what I would vote for. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac. And at this point in time, I was just seeing if you could plug stuff into a formula. And it is a little bit tedious, but let's do this with a little bit of things we can. So you plug in negative 800 for b, right? So that makes 800 plus or minus. If you square 800, even without a calculator, you can do that, can't you? Because you can do 8 times 8 is 64.
16.
And then how many zeros?
1,000. No, 10,000.
Just count how many zeros. That's the easier thing. It's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that make sense? So minus 4 times a, which is 1, and times c, which is 140,000.
Yeah, I definitely prefer completing the square.
Completing the square is all good and dandy when you have like a 1 in front of the x squared, so that will totally work in this case. I mean, it's not wrong. So if you simplify that stuff under the root sign before you root it, what do you get? 80,000. Okay. Do you guys agree with that? And you can just punch the stuff under the root sign into a calculator, over 2. And then what is the root of 80,000, just say 2 decimal places? Is that also? Do you guys agree with that? 282.84? I got a different answer for underneath this. Oh. Look at the retake, sorry. My bad. Yep. 282.84. Okay. All right, so one answer is 1,082.84 over 2. The other answer is 800 minus that 282. What's that? 318.16. Is that right? Why not 300? I don't know what's wrong with me. Give me some subtraction.
517.16.
Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. 517.16 over 2. So what are your 2 answers then? 500 and something, right? I got 541.4.
258.58.
Mm-hmm. And does this mean there are 2 pens? What these answers actually give you are both of the dimensions. Like if you were to plug this first x back in and solve it for get the y, you're going to get 258.58. If you do the second one and you plug that in and find the y, you're going to get 541.4. So now what was that point? Was 0.42, right? Does that make sense? So it's just the case that they're giving you what you find are the pen could be oriented a long way this way or a long way that way. It's just doesn't matter. But the point that a lot of you got stuck at is a lot of you just made like silly mistakes, like punching the numbers into your calculators to do the quadratic formula. That was the most common thing I saw when I graded these. So, and a lot of you made a mistake with a negative sign someplace, and then you got imaginary answers. You're like, oh my God, that makes no sense. What do I do? Ah. Okay. All right. And the second thing, this is a question that's from the review section of a calculus textbook. Actually, the one you're going to use next semester if you take calculus. So a small appliance manufacturer finds that it costs them $9,000 to produce 1,000 toaster ovens in a week and $12,000 to make 1,500 toaster ovens in a week. So express the cost as a function of the number of toaster ovens produced. So what this language means is it means cost is your y and toaster ovens is your x. What you want to do is plug in the number of ovens and get out your cost. Does that make sense as a question? Okay. And you're going to assume that this relationship is just straight up linear, which means that the equation that describes the cost is a line. So, and what they've given you are 2 points in disguise. So what's one of the points? Just keep in mind that toaster ovens is x, so x has to go first. 1,000 toaster ovens costs how much money? $9,000, right? What's the other point?
1,500.
Costs 12,000. Once you get that, all you have to do is get the equation of the line, like find the slope. That's it, like it's nothing different. So the slope is y2 minus y1, so 12,000 minus 9,000 over 1,500 minus 1,000. And really I could have given you this to you without a calculator because the numbers are so easy. what's 12,000 minus 9,000?
371.
Over 500, right? Without a calculator, see if you can do it, cancel some zeros. You get 30 over 5, which is 6. And if you think about what this means, in the numerator, this was, what are the units of the numerator? The numerator is y, right? Y is measured in dollars. This is the number of toasters, right? So what this is this is dollars per toaster. Each toaster oven cost them $6 to make for probably materials and labor and stuff like that. Okay. Now, the equation of the line would be y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So let's pick the smaller point, y minus 9,000 equals 6, x minus 1,000. So that's y minus 9,000 equals 6x minus 6,000, or y equals 6x plus 3,000, I think. And using c and t, that'd be c equals 6t plus 3,000. So the $6, this is actually one of the next questions we have, that was the cost per toaster. What does the 3,000 represent?
Initial cost.
The initial cost, like that could be like buying your equipment, which you pay for once. And provided stuff doesn't break down only once. So we're ignoring some complications as kind of the simplest case. And so the rest of the questions for this problem, we're just interpreting what these things mean. So what is the slope? It is 6. And this is the cost to produce one toaster, right? Or you could say the cost per toaster is $6. Like it doesn't, there's lots of explanations to say that correctly, but just tell me that that's the price per toaster. What is the y-intercept?
3,000.
3,000. Does it have meaning?
Initial investment.
This is the initial cost or investment. If that y-intercept had come out to be negative, would it mean anything? Possibly, but probably not. So, depends on the context. It could mean that you started off owing somebody money, perhaps. Maybe it's debt. So you could kind of swing negative numbers to make sense. How much would it cost to produce 22,500 toaster ovens? So take your equation, which was C equals 6T plus 3,000. Where does that 2,500 go? In the T. So did we get 18,000, is that right? Okay, great. All right, so that's it for the first packet. If you came in